Hi, hello, welcome everybody. My name is Sandy Enriquez. I'm the Public Services, Outreach, and Community Engagement Librarian at UCR Library.
And I'm Rachel Starry. I am the Digital Scholarship Librarian here at UCR Library, and we are very excited to share some information with you about a brand new student program that is coming this summer, summer 2023. It is a 6-week program. It's free, not credit bearing. It's designed to work well with your summer session courses. And it's designed to help you learn how to analyze and engage with archival materials, things held by the library in our special collections and archives, and also use innovative digital tools to do your research.
Yes, and all the items that we chose for this program focus on student voices from UCR, particularly BIPOC, Black, Indigenous people of color voices. And the reason we did that is we really want to be able to learn from those perspectives and understand their experiences here at UCR.
So to tell you a bit more about how to join the program, information is kind of circulating now. Our applications are actually due April 28th. And to find out more about the application process and to find a Google form where you can apply, you can go to this URL. We'll also share it, I'm sure, in links and descriptions, but it's bit.ly/DS certificate program. So go there to learn more about how to apply.
Yes, and if you're interested in just learning more in general, we do have an info session coming up on February 24th. So highly recommend going to that. Today, we're actually going to be giving you a sneak peek into some of the items that we will be using in this workshop or in this program and explain a little bit about the workshops that these items would be used in. All right, so let's get started. So our first item here is an artist's book. And so this was made by a class of students. You can see the course here. This was made back when UCR had a book arts program. But basically it's showing you different types of printing styles, different types of handmade paper, just different techniques that you can use. So one of the workshops that we'll be doing is, as part of this program, you will first you'll get to come in and learn about these physical materials and handle them and how to engage with them in person. But we'll also be talking about how do you photograph things like this? How do we create digital versions to share with the world? So we'll be doing an imaging in the archives workshop that is for 2D, kind of flat text documents like this. And then the next object we're going to look at is more 3D. Yes, this is a really fun object. So this also was student made. And as you can tell, this is a 3D object. This is also an artist's book. So what makes artist books interesting is that they do tell a story like a regular book does. But as you can tell, they're not as easily read from, left to right. You actually have to engage with the item. You have to unwrap the item. And in this item's case, you actually need to go through layers of different papers to be able to learn what the story is. So obviously that's a lot more complex when we talk about digitizing physical objects in the archives. So we'll talk about different options for 3D modeling, even using your phone to create 3D models that you could then share with the world. Yes. Okay. Next, we have another example of an artist book, but as you can tell, this one is a little bit more simple. And this is an artist book made by a UCR student, and it's called Discrimination at UCR Is. So presumably these are all different scenarios that the student has seen or heard about examples of discrimination here on campus. So this, like the other items, are physical objects in the library collections. And we're going to be talking in this program, you'll be learning about how to maybe choose 1 to 2 to 3 different items and kind of create digital versions of them and then juxtapose them in a digital exhibit, right? How would you tell a story with these different objects? Obviously, they're each telling their own story, but do they tell different stories together? So we'll be looking at how to create digital exhibits with these different kinds of items. Next, we have a flyer. So this was a flyer that would have been posted up here at the UCR campus back in '69. And this is for promoting an event where we have a guest speaker, a former professor from UC Berkeley, coming to talk about his documentary on Cuba. And so this is from one of our student activism archives. So when we talk about, again, digitizing, making digital versions of these archival objects,
One of the things we want to do with these objects is read the text on them. So we're going to have a workshop in this program that teaches you how to use OCR, that's optical character recognition, and kind of learn about all the decisions that go into using a software program like that to create, searchable text that you could then do other forms of analysis on. So this is one example, and this of course includes both handwritten and drawn elements. So we'll talk about how does the software work? How does it decide what pieces of text? What are the challenges to that? All those kind of nitty-gritty details.
Yeah, and we'll be using all of these objects in the first workshop for this program, which is Encountering Archives, Materiality in Space. But this collection in particular, we're going to be using as an example to talk about what is lost when items are digitized and what is gained from it. So talking about the ephemera, different types of flyers, newspapers, posters, all kinds of materials, how do they transition into a digital space? Next, we have a really beautiful and important piece of UCR's history. This is Nuestra Cosa. This is a student-made newspaper specifically from MECHA, which is the Chicano student organization here at UCR. And we recently digitized this whole collection, but this newspaper just shows you a lot about Chicano student perspectives and experiences on campus back in the 60s, 70s, and even into the early 2000s.
So this is another example of the challenges of creating a digital version of an object like this. So we'll talk about how do we deal with kind of multimedia in digital exhibits and in programs that do things like OCR. And yeah, there's obviously a lot of really different and important stories being told. And again, how would you kind of take different archival materials and assemble them into an exhibit to let those stories kind of shine?
And our last item that we're going to show you today is really exciting as well. This is Together. This is a literary magazine, kind of like a zine that was published by the Black Student Union here at UCR in the 60s. So it shows different examples of poetry and literature by students.
One other workshop we'll be doing in this program is you'll be learning a bit about how to do quantitative text analysis. So obviously there's a lot of words and stories in all of these different documents. It might be too much for one person, like a human, to read. So we can actually use different software programs and kind of have the computer computationally look at all of the different words and kind of explore what are the different themes of the different stories in this literary magazine, in this newspaper, things like that, for example.
Awesome. So hopefully that gives you a sneak peek into the different types of materials. This is just a small sampling of the materials we're going to be using in this program. But we hope that you will consider joining us and that you will attend our info session on the 24th and reach out to us if you have any further questions.
Looking forward to seeing you all there.